Hello everybody! In this lesson I will teach you how to factorize by taking out a common factor. What are factors? Numbers have factors. When I give you 3 times 4 is equal to 12, then 3 and 4 are the factors. 12 has other factors, namely 2 times 6 and 1 times 12. Algebraic expressions also have factors. When I give you the expression 2 times x times y, then there's 3 factors, namely 2x and y. Factorization is the opposite of simplification. When I give you 3 bracket a plus b, when you simplify, you use the distributive property of multiplication, and then that thing becomes 3a plus 3b. Now factorization is the exact opposite of simplification, where I give you 3a plus 3b, and when you factorize, you end with 3 bracket a plus b. So in short, factorization is putting things into brackets. The first thing that I'm going to teach you is how to factorize by taking out the highest common factor. Now, first of all, I want to show you that when there's only 4, it means there's actually an invisible 1 times 4a plus, and then the factors of 8 are 1 and 8 and 2 and 4, and that's the one that we're going to use, the 2 times 4, since we want to take out a common factor, the highest common factor. So when you go to the first term, what is common there is the 4, and on the second term there is also a 4. So that is the thing that you're going to pull out as the common factor. And then you write it as 4, and then a bracket with no sign there. The bracket stands directly next to the 4, the common factor that you took out, since factorization is actually multiplication. And then inside the bracket you have to write what's left. Now let's see. There is an invisible 1, which is that one over there, and an a, and there's your plus that's left, a 2 and a b. And then, so now you factorized by taking out a common factor. And then it's always good practice in your head to quickly multiply this back using the distributive property to see if you're right. Now let's see. 4 times a is indeed 4a, and 4 times 2b is indeed 8b. So I know I'm right. Let's look at another one. Still, the question is factorized by taking out the highest common factor. Now, since this is the beginning of this lesson, let's do this very slowly. Let's take the 5x squared and write it in expanded form, and then there's your plus 3x. Then, now you will say what is common to both of them, and it's very clear that there is an x and there is an x. That's common. So that's the thing that we're going to take out when we take out the common factor. And then what's left? Here you can see. You write the x, that's the common factor, a bracket directly next to the x, and then we're left with a 5 and an x and a plus and a 3. And that's how you factorize by taking out a common factor. Now, let's take you one step further. This one, if you look at the question, it says factorize by taking out the highest common factor. So now on this first one, 2x to the 4, when we write that one in expanded form, it's the same as 2 times 1, 2, 3, there's 4 x's, since it's x to the 4, plus 5, and x cubed is x, and x. Now, when we take out the highest common factor, it's very clear that on the first term there's 4 x's and on the second term there's 3 x's. So the highest common factor is we can take out 3 of the x's, and that is the same as x cubed. And when you go to this one, there's also 3 x's, and 3 x's when you multiply is x cubed. And then there's your common factor. So it is the highest common factor. You can't just take out x, then you took out a common factor but not the highest common factor. So I take out x to the 3 and I'm left with a bracket, and directly next to x to the x cubed there's your bracket, and what's left? There's the 2 and the x that's left, plus there's a 5, and that's all that's left there. Another one, 9ab minus 3a squared. So again, my advice to you is to now in the beginning write that in expanded form. 9 is the same as 3 times 3, a times b minus, and 3a squared is the same as 3 times a times a. Now let's see, what is the common factors there? The first one is there's a 3 and there's a 3. So we can take out a 3 as a common factor. And then there's an a and there's 2 a's. So we can also take out an a and one of the a's. And there's a b and a a, so that's not a common factor. So your common factor is 3a. And then what's left inside a bracket with no sign there is this 3 and the b and minus and the a. The question is still factorized by taking out the highest common factor. Now let's take you one step further. When on the second term or the first term there's only this number, you call the number a constant on its own. When you factorize, you must be very careful. So you can write this one in expanded form as 5 times x plus, and then on the constant, 5 is the same as 1 times 5. Now, it's very clear that 5 is the common factor. So we will take out 5 and we will take out the 5. And then see what's left. There's your bracket. And then it's easier to see, oh, x plus 1. That's what's left. And then again, let's just test whether we were right by multiplying it back out in our heads. So we say 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 1 is 5. I know I'm right. Next one. I give you 3a squared minus a. So let's write this one in expanded form. So then it's 3 times a minus, and now I'm going to teach you if there's nothing in front of the a, there is in fact an invisible 1. Because when you take out a common factor, now I think it's very clear that a is the common factor. So we'll take out a and a. So that's what you write in front. Inside a bracket, what's left? Can you see? The 3 is left, the a is left, so it's 3a minus, and when you took out the a, there is a 1 left. So that when you do the check part in your head, you can say a times 3a is 3a squared, and a times negative 1 is indeed negative a. Let's do another one. 3x, we have to factorize 3x squared plus 6x cubed. Let's write it in expanded form. 3x squared is 3 times x plus, And then 6, we have to write down the factors. Now the factors are 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. So I think by now you understand. Let's write down the factors as 2 and 3 since we have a 3 that side. It makes sense. And then x cubed is x times x times x. Then we factorize by taking out the highest common factor. So in terms of the coefficients, the numbers, do you agree? We will take out a 3 and we will take out a 3. And then there's x and x. In other words, that means x squared. So let's see. On this side, we had x cubed, so it works out perfectly. We can take out x squared as a common factor. And there's our answer. So the highest common factor is indeed 3x squared. And then what's left is this 1. So where does this 1 comes from? It's in fact, I forgot, but there in front of the 3, it's as if you have 1 times 3. So what's left there is this 1. There you go. Plus the 2 and the x. And let's check whether we were right. We can say 3x squared times 1 is indeed 3x squared, and 3x squared plus 2x is indeed 6x cubed. And can you see, if I didn't write down the 1 there, then I would have a problem. Last example on this slide. Let's write this in expanded form. A squared b means a times b minus, and ab squared is a times b times b. Then let's take out the highest common factor. So on the first term there's 2 a's and 1 b, and on the second term there's 1 a and 2 b's. So I think it's clear there's this a and the a that we can take out, and a b and one of the b's there. So we're left with the common factor is ab bracket, and then you're left with a minus and this b. We can also check whether we were right. Let's do that. That's good practice. ab times a is a squared b minus ab times b is indeed ab squared. Now the question only says factorize, but the idea is, and that's actually the rule, when you factorize, you take out the highest common factor. Again, let's see. The first term, when we write this in expanded form, will be 2 times x times x times y. The plus 4, since this is a 2, I'm going to write 4 as 2 times 2 times x times y minus, and then 8 I can write as 1 times 8, or I can write it as 2 times 4 times x times y. Now I can take out the highest common factor, always the highest common factor. So let's see. There's a 2, there's a 2, and there's a 2 that I can take out. And then there's an x, there's an x, and there's an x. And then lastly, there's a y, there's a y, and there's a y. So the common factor will be 2xy bracket, and I'm left with this x plus 2y minus 4, and you factorized. Next example. There you find 10r squared t minus 5r squared t cubed plus 15r squared t squared. So do you agree? Since there's 5, I'm going to write 10 as 5 times 2, and then r squared is r times t minus the second term, 5r squared is r times r, t cubed is t times t times t, plus 15 is the same as 3 times 5, r squared, there's 2 of them, t squared, there's 2 of them. Now I can take out the highest common factor. So let's see. There's a 5 that's common to all 3 terms. I like that. Then here there's r and r, which is in fact r squared. And then, there's another one. There's also 2 of them, r squared. And on the last term, there's also r squared. So I like that. And then in terms of t, well, you only have one t. So you've got one t there. I'll take one of your t's and I'll take one of your t's. Therefore, the common factor will be 5r squared t. And then what's left inside a bracket directly next to the common factor will be the 2 is left, a minus, there's 2 t's there. This is actually 2t squared plus 3 and the lonely t. And then when you multiply that back in your head, that's exactly what you get. Now on this slide, I want to show you that you can take out a bracket as a common factor, as long as the bracket is exactly the same. So when I give you 3 bracket a plus 2 minus a bracket a plus 2, the common factor is in fact the bracket a plus 2. Can you see they look exactly the same? So now you can pull out the bracket a plus 2. So you pull it out, and then what's left is this 3 minus a. But can you see when you write down what's left, you write it inside its own bracket, and then there's nothing written there next to the 2 brackets. You put them together. No sign there. Another one. When you factorize this, can you see x minus 3, x minus 3, the whole bracket repeats itself. Therefore, you can pull out x minus 3 as a common factor, and then what's left is inside its own bracket, x plus 5. And you write the 2 brackets directly next to each other. Another one. The common factor here is b plus 4, b plus 4. So you pull out the b plus 4 and you're left with a plus 7 inside its own bracket with the 2 brackets next to each other. Last one. When I give you this a bracket x plus y plus bracket x plus y, are you with me? If there's nothing there after the plus is an invisible 1. And that's very important, because when you take out x plus y as your common factor, then you're left with a plus invisible 1. And now you write down that one. And remember, again, your 2 brackets will stand directly next to each other. Before we continue, have you subscribed yet? Or you can like this video, and better yet, please tell your friends about my channel. Let's continue. In the next video, I will teach you how to factorize by using the method difference of 2 squares. Click on the video in the left-hand corner to take you straight to the next video.